We are talking about health. So I would love to say it's probably one of the most important aspects of our lives, but the truth is everything is so interconnected and you can't have success in one realm when the other is not doing so well. So health. Health is a big thing. It has become an enormously large industry globally for the simple reason that there is such a big need because so many people are living in an unhealthy way. Their diets are up to shit, they don't exercise, completely too sedentary, and we know what the repercussions are. We've got disease left, right and center, high stress levels, people are constantly backache, everything else, you name it. Okay, so we know that health is important, but for some very strange reason, people like to avoid that reality. They like to pretend that they will go into their old age super healthy and happy and never have any problems. Okay, it is the biggest self-delusion that we give ourselves. The fact is that health, our physicality, requires as much effort and input and maintenance as any other area of our life, okay, as our business, our money, our relationships, etc. And you cannot have the energy to go after your goals, to really engage with your life and to live the best life you can if the vehicle that you're doing it through is slow and sluggish and always falling apart. So, reality tells us that the only way to be healthy is to eat properly and to get an adequate amount of exercise. Fantasy tells us tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow, or it's not that bad, or maybe magically something will change and I won't actually have to do anything. It will just happen for me. All right, so there's no point pulling any punches. There's only two ways to be healthy: diet and exercise. So, and I just want to be very clear about this. Being healthy is not being thin, it's not being model perfect, it's not even being perfect in any way, because we all know that doesn't exist. But what it does mean is being helping our body to function optimally, okay? If you are putting in too much sugar, too much alcohol, too much processed foods, the results are going to happen, and they might not happen today, but over time they're going to build up, and it's going to start detracting from your life, okay? If you're a parent, when you can't even run in the garden with your child, you can't cycle with them, you can't even lift them up, that is detracting from your life. And the amazing experiences that are available to you when you are healthy that you can do without a second's thought. Okay, these are the things that you want in your life, and these are the things that you should be going after. Okay, so don't let a small little thing like laziness and a resistance to change stop you from living your best life. So let's start with diet. We live busy lives. I live an amazingly busy life. I love cooking, but I only cook when I have to, like if there's people coming over. During the week meals, I have it really, really simple. I just physically don't have the time to do more than I would like to do. Having said that, I do work within my restraints. So I have a weekly menu planned, and I actually paid a dietitian to do it for me because she knows the nutritional aspects better than I do, and she, organized the recipes for me. You can go online and for free download all the information that you need in terms of recipes, your nutritional intake, your calorie requirements, etc. It's all there. That's not an excuse. But what I do is I have my weekly menus planned. I know exactly what I'm buying from the shops. I know exactly what's being cooked for the day. It's easy. It works. Okay, and I don't fall off the wagon. So there's no excuse, okay, to not provide the best amount of nutrition possible for yourself and for your family, okay, because the only thing stopping you is a choice to live in a healthier way and the few hours that it's going to take to create that plan and that support structure for yourself. The processed foods, I get it. It's so much easier to run into your closest store and just buy a pre-made meal, but it's full of shit. And sure, on the weekends, go for it, on that note. So I believe in the 80-20 rule, and this I apply to everything in my life. So 80% of the time, I stick to my routine. I stick to my diet. If you're talking about health, I go to gym, I exercise, I do everything I'm supposed to do 80% of the time. The other 20%, I say fuck it, all right? And that is takeaways, and it's chilling out with Netflix, and it's eating the stuff I wouldn't normally eat during the week. The reason I follow this kind of guideline, self-imposed guideline, is because it's manageable and it's realistic. And also, I want the nice stuff. I love chocolate cake. I cannot live without chocolate cake. And that is something I'm not prepared to give up. But I'm not going to eat it like every day or even every week or even every month. But I do indulge on the weekends. So this 80-20 rule really helps with consistency, because it's easy for me to stick to my routine Monday to Friday, because I know come the weekend we're going to go out for lunch, for dinner, I'm going to have a huge big pasta, it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to love life. So if that's something that would work for you, adopt it. It really, really, really works. So changing our diet. So again, it's not just the practical elements of what is my shopping list, what is my menu, and what am I cooking every day. You know, that's actually the easy part. The harder part is our relationship with food. Again, it boils down to worth and to filling in the gaps within ourselves. So we tend to attach food with emotion. We're sad, we go and eat. We're excited, we go celebrate, we go and eat. We're feeling lonely, we eat. So we have all of these emotional attachments to food, and that's where the work needs to be done. Because what happens when you feel that you are being denied what it is you want? Okay, so let's create a situation so I can put it in perspective for you. Saturday night, you're home alone, you're super sad, out comes a bag of chips. You're on the couch, plate is propped up here with whatever bad food is on top of it, so you don't have to go through the effort of like getting it to your mouth that fast. If you were to do an experiment on yourself and you were to not immediately reach for food to feed the emotional need within yourself, what would happen with that space left open? Okay, that's where you need to do the work, and that's where you need to kind of visit and see what happens, because those emotions that rise up, okay, because remember, any bad thing that we do with ourselves, whether it be a bad relationship, bad diet, bad habits, whatever it is, all of those things, it's self-medicating. We're trying to make ourselves feel better, and until we get to the root of what needs to feel better, we're going to keep doing it, and it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to break those habits. And you can do it with willpower, but sooner or later your willpower is going to slip, because willpower is finite. It does not last forever, and then you're back into the same routine and the same habits. So if you find yourself emotionally eating, if you find yourself using food as a crutch, you need to, before you even attempt to change your fridge and your pantry, you really need to get to the underlying emotion attached to the habit. Okay, coming up later in the units, I'll give you some actions that you can do to help you start that process. Okay, so that's diet. And then we have exercise. It's just basic science, guys. The way our body works, we need to use what's going in, input, output. If all of the input has got no way to go out, you're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of that, those deposits are going to sit on your body. And I'm not just talking about fat, I'm talking about sitting on your arteries, increasing your, what's that thing that men have, and women? People take medication for it. I've gone absolutely blank. It'll come to me later. But anyway, I'm not just talking about the outside visible effects of no exercise. I'm talking about the internal ones that degenerate your body, okay, that create liver disease, thyroid problems, cholesterol. That's the word, cholesterol. Okay, so we have to exercise our bodies. Also, our muscles atrophy. For women, you're looking at osteoporosis when you're a little bit older, if your bone density starts breaking down. So exercise is a vitally important physical element for us, but it also provides an emotional and a mental release. Okay, we are not meant to be as sedentary as we are. Okay, we are made up of energy, and that energy needs to move. And when we move our bodies, we help shift out the crap from the day, the crap that we've been carrying around with us, the stress, all of that kind of stuff. And when you do exercise, you sleep better. You're in a better frame of mind, okay? It releases endorphins, happy pills in your own head, and life is better. So adopting some form of exercise is self-love, okay? And you don't have to join a gym if you don't want to. You can walk, you have legs, you can go outside and run around the block. There are hundreds of thousands of free videos and routines that you can do on your own at home that don't require weights, that don't require any equipment, okay? So the only thing that's stopping you from putting this into your routine is your resistance to change and to hard work, okay? So within the realm of fantasy versus reality, the fantasy tells us, actually, weirdly enough, in the health scenario, it's normally like a negative fantasy, like, oh, I hate gym. I don't like to exercise. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. And this is all a story that we're telling ourselves just to avoid the reality that we don't want to accept. And that reality might be getting scarier and scarier the more we age. You might not want to admit that your body is aching literally from head to toe. You might not want to admit that you actually can't walk up a flight of stairs anymore. And this is the reality that we are avoiding. But by avoiding reality, it's not going to fix it, okay? So I understand, believe me, I understand. I mean, I with who I am, I have to exercise every day, otherwise I start going dilly, all right? It's my release, it's my enjoyment. I'm super, super active. For those of you who follow me on Instagram or wherever else, you know that I climb a lot, and that is my connection to my reality, because we can get so lost. We get so lost and so bogged down by these imaginary realities where we have to perform and we have to do this and we have to do that and we have to be the perfect mother and the perfect wife and the perfect husband and the perfect woman and man, and all of these labels that we've created for ourselves start overtaking the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is we are here to love and experiment and experience each other and our own dreams and talents. And for me, when I spend time climbing mountains, it just brings me back to earth. It 100% grounds me. And all of the things that I was worrying about during the week, they become insignificant, because in the grander scheme of things, they actually don't fucking matter. And I need that reminder. And you need those reminders so that we don't get sucked into this void of, that hamster wheel, either in reality or within our own minds. So I'm going to give you some little action steps to take for the week, as I do, because this is about coaching and we can't have change without action. And again, it does not have to change overnight by any means, but you can make little changes every day, or even do them in a week. I know with families, it's really difficult because you've got so-and-so who doesn't eat this and so-and-so who doesn't eat that, and perhaps you want to cut sugar out, but your partner doesn't. I understand that there's all of these challenges that you're going to have to navigate through, which is why don't try and tackle them all at once, okay? It's too overwhelming and you're setting yourself up for failure. But what you can do is take responsibility for you, and you can lead by example. So let's use that example of cutting sugar out, but your family doesn't want to. When it comes to your kids, I'm sorry to say, but you're the adult and you need to be the adult. If they're kind of teenagers, good luck. But if they're younger, I'm sorry. This is the way it is. You're not eating sugar. With my daughter, we all have, which I live by, we have a 0 sugar rule during the week. Monday to Friday, there's no sugar. Come the weekend, let's go have an ice cream, milkshake, pancakes, whatever it is, cool. And she knows that, 80-20. But if your partner is resisting this change, so is that going to stop you? Is that going to be the excuse that you've been waiting for so that you don't have to take that step? No, it's not, because you are going to make your food slightly differently, and you are going to lead by example. And in 2 months' time, when you are feeling amazing and your skin is glowing and your hair is awesome and you're energized, your partner's going to look at you and go, maybe I should try it as well, okay? So don't let other people's choices and their fears affect you and your health and your life, because you're in it. Yes, we are sharing our lives with our family and our friends and our loved ones, but at the end of the day, it is all on your shoulders. And the only person who is going to make or break your life is you. So get out of that fantasy, get into reality. Yes, it's hard, it's gritty, you're going to have to sweat, you're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to sit at that table when everyone's eating a huge sauce-filled pasta thing while you have your delicious healthy salad, and you're probably going to feel like, oh, why? But you know what? It's worth it. In my previous video, we were chatting about, what were we chatting about last? Money. And I was talking about we can only transition when the outcome exceeds the pain of getting there, okay? And yeah, let's not beat around the bush. The pain of being where you want to be, where you imagine yourself to be, where you'd like yourself to be, requires that you wake up half an hour earlier and you go for a run. It requires that you sweat. It requires that you make those dietary sacrifices. But you're going to be super strong, super healthy, super balanced, and that's cool. I invite you to be there because that is a good place to be.